we're going to do the end of the month. What was the word I used before?
Tracking.
No, we're going to take the tracking that we've done.
Reconciling.
Thank you. The end of the month reconciliation. So if you have a spreadsheet available that you can pull up, and if you have the tracking that you've done so far that you can pull up, I'm going to do it from here. I'm grabbing an old spreadsheet from somebody you don't know. And let's see, share each one.
Ooh, awesome. Nice. Thanks. Wow.
Where is it?
Let me guess.
No, you left, yeah. That's pretty much it.
No.
Jason's my son.
Okay.
He goes, I left Jay a voicemail. I'm like, I can guarantee you he doesn't check the voicemails maybe once a month. So when he gets it, he'll let me know.
Okay, so are you seeing my screen now?
Yes.
Wow.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is, this is somebody who put all of her expenses onto one sheet.
This is for an excuse. You combine mistake, you can pick this one up.
So what I have to do is separate this out. So as you can see across the top, this is her tracking sheet. She's got all of her headlines over here.
Well, I have to wait to hang
And I copied the headlines onto one of these. Now she just has it divided up into personal and business. I have it into several different things. I have it in 3 different categories. She's got one business, and so she's got personal and business that she marks things. So I'm going to copy all of her January stuff right now. January. Okay. So I highlighted all. I hit Control Copy because I'm on a PC. And go over to the new spreadsheet, and I'm going to hit Control V to paste it in. And so I'm going to open this up a little bit more so you can see everything better. And if you see me doing something that you don't know what I'm doing, just go ahead and ask me, because sometimes I do this so often that I just do stuff automatically, and I don't know what other people might not know how to do.
So do you recommend that for this we do it all on do this process on a separate page, or would we be doing it just directly on our expense tracking?
No, do it on a separate. Well, you can do it directly on your expense thing.
Mm-hmm.
What I end up doing, because I work with somebody else for accountability, I have somebody who I keep my main one, the day-to-day one, on a Google spreadsheet so that I can share it with my accountability person, and she looks at it and makes sure that I'm doing my tracking every day, because I have terrible ADD and I forget.
Right.
So she looks and she'll remind me and send me a text if I haven't done it. So I put it on Google Spreadsheet, but I don't like to work in Google Spreadsheets. So I copy it from there and I put it onto a separate page, and I do each month separately. The advantage of doing all the months on the same page is that you're going to have to do that at tax time anyway. You're going to have to compile them all onto one so that you can sort it for your tax categories.
Mm-hmm.
But you only have to compile your business ones. So if it's easier for you to just take the business section of each month and do all the 12 months at the end of the year, then you can do it that way, compile it then.
Okay.
Or you can put it all in one big one and then take each month out separately as you work on it. Because you want to get, at the end of each month, you want to just figure out for that month.
Yeah.
So to sort the 1 month, it's easier for me to just put it on a separate sheet.
Well, I mean, find your ticket.
And so now I'm going to select this whole thing for this month,
How can I do this?
and I'm going to sort it.
Trouble.
So if you guys have your,
Pretty much.
tracking sheet for the last few weeks, you can do this with me so that you can see that you know how to, what you're doing. I just highlighted the whole page, and then I'm going to sort. Where's sort? Sort. And I'm going down to the custom sort.
You said it's Brandon Home.
So I'm going to start by sorting first of all by her business expenses. Oh, and my data has headers, so I make sure that that's checked. So I sort first by business, then add a level, and next sort by personal. So that's the first main divisions. All the business stuff will be on the top when we finish, and all the personal will be on the bottom. And then within each of them, I'm going to add another level now, and I'm going to sort by category. So within the business and then within the personal, it'll be sorted by categories. And then I'm going to add another level. And I'm going to sort by item.
Or maybe he just moved in.
And then I'm going to add another level and sort by vendor. And you see how under account, we have these numbers here, but then we didn't finish the rest of it? Because she actually was working everything out of one account. So she had all the business and the personal mixed together. So it was no point in writing that number over and over again. Okay, so now that I have filled out all of the order that I want to sort things in, now I hit OK, and it's sorted. And so the first thing that I want to do, I'm only interested at the beginning in doing the business expenses. So I'm going to put a space from between the two major categories. So I go over to rows and columns, insert cell, insert rows. So now I've inserted a row there to separate it. And now I'm going to go back up here and separate each category with a row in between. Insert cell, insert row. And then this one.
That's his, yeah.
Insert cell, insert row. And then client meeting.
There won't be no more people in it if I put it in the
Insert cell, insert row. Coaching, insert cell, insert row. So I'm separating all these out. Do you remember why I'm doing that? I showed you once before in a previous lesson. The reason that I'm separating it out like this is so that it makes it easier to add the categories. So now, like under administrative, I can just click where I want the total to show up, and then I slide it up and hit sum. And now I have $108 as the total for the administrative costs. And I pull that box over to this column here so that it's easy to see it. So my total for the administrative is $108.90. And then under networking, I'll add that column, hit auto sum, grab that box, and carry that out to the end. So that's her networking expenses. And then for client meetings, carry this out to the end. Now, ideally, you guys would be doing this on your own numbers at the same time. Whoops, I did that wrong. Backspace. Excitement. Okay, where are we now? How many more does she have left to go? Oh, not that many more in the business. Okay, so I'm going to do the rest of these business ones so we have a full latest stuff to work from here. So when I'm working live with a client on a coaching thing, I'm usually sitting, if we're in the same area where we can be, we sit side by side at their computer and we do this. Or we sit at my computer and do it, and then I copy everything over for them. So now we're going to add up the parking.
So I'll add it on 30.
Now, what about
Hey, Judy.
Hi.
We're doing the end of the month reconciliation with the tracking sheets. I missed this.
Got it.
So I sorted, I'm using a sample, and I sorted her, this person had business and personal expenses, and I sorted them, I separated out the business from the personal to start with, and then we sorted it according to category. And so now I'm adding up each category in the business section.
You're silly.
I'm done.
I know.
I have to do credit now.
Well, I'm not.
And for security, she only has one entry, so I'm just copying and pasting it over there.
So we started. I'm trying to do this with you, but I'm a little behind. So we start sorting by the
First by
personal business,
personal,
and then
yeah.
what's next?
And then category, the
Okay.
row H or column H.
And then were there other?
Yeah, and after category, the next one. I mean, after category, the next one would be under item.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And then I do it under vendor as well.
Okay.
So, see, for Christmas, my friend gave me my jersey. Jay never has time to bring it. We wanted to do it since last
Right.
Christmas.
Right.
So I was like, I was telling him, well, this is gonna be part of my birthday gift now because I framed it, or else he'll never get to it. So, and my son kept on saying, "Did I keep it up?"
No.
But,
Did he? So he doesn't know it's you?
No. It's in his closet.
Okay. Okay. So it's getting blowing.
Okay. So now I have all of the business stuff sorted out here.
Yeah. And now you know why.
And then if we were doing what I would normally do as well,
Yeah.
when I was
Really.
sitting with the client, is we would go through and then we would do the personal stuff, because the personal stuff is going to go into the personal budget, which is separate from the business budget. And I think I'm just going to, right now, I'm going to separate all the categories so we can see them when we move over to filling out the budget numbers. Yep.
So you're just doing the auto sum in line,
Or air silly.
but then you won't have a total anymore that's correct because
So I didn't total it before I started to sort it.
Right. So, so it doesn't, we don't care, is what I'm saying. We don't care what the total expenses were. We're just looking at the categories.
Right.
Okay.
Right, because then we're going to move them over into as we do when we do our reconciliation.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to go into a new chart,
Okay.
and then that's where we'll total it, the total expenses. Here.
He's not staring at them. He's just staring at
So I usually, I mean, you can do it personal first if you want to. I usually do business first, business expenses first, just because that's where my focus usually is. But then, so for things like this too, when you're looking at it, as we go into when we're doing the personal ones and we're looking at like her column, her category of groceries,
Mm-hmm.
you can see we ended up with $570 worth of groceries for the month.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a big surprise for her because she's single. And so that's a lot of groceries. And if you're not adding it up at the end and you're just looking at, $7 here, $20 there, $18 there, you don't realize how much money is going out. So that's why it ends up being real important to go through this process.
Right.
To see. Yeah, and I had a client who, he and her husband loved to go to live entertainment. And she was surprised to see that over the course of the year, we were like 6 months into the year, and she realized they had spent like $6,000 on concerts and stuff. And they didn't realize it because they never looked at the numbers all added together like that.
So is the point of this also to see where you can like curb some expenditures? And
Exactly, because it's obvious that like this person could cut back on her grocery bill, or
she could stop going to Whole Foods.
shop differently.
Don't go to Whole Foods.
It also depends on what you're buying at Whole Foods. Whole Foods has some good deals on stuff.
Oh, I love Whole Foods.
Yeah, I do too. Now it's a further drive for me than it used to be. Yeah. Okay, so let's take a look at, let's see. Actually, I don't want to get too far ahead of you, Robin. Are you, where are you at in the process right now?
Oh, I'm fine. Go ahead. I'm trying to figure out how to make. I'm trying to figure out an Excel thing that you seem to be moving the auto sum from one column to the next column, and I can't figure out how to do that.
Oh, okay. I'll show you. Let me do one here. So I highlight the box, click on it,
Mm-hmm.
and then when you go up to till you get those 4 arrows,
Yeah.
that's when you know you've grabbed it. And you can push down on your clicker button and pull it over, slide it over.
Ah, so I need to push on control or something while I'm doing it?
I'm pushing on, there's left and right clickers.
Yeah.
So I'm pushing on the left clicker once I get that, and that grabs it. And I'm sliding with my other finger, I'm pulling it over. Do you have it?
No, that's okay.
Are you on a laptop that you're?
Yes.
So do you have like a clicker on each side and then an area where you can slide things with your finger?
I have a trackpad.
And what does the Oh, so you have like a mouse thing, or
Hang on. Oh, I got it now.
you got it figured out?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so then the next thing that I would do is move this out of my way here. Now I'm going to go to start a new page, and this is the income and the outgo. And we did something like this before because we did the when we first set up the budget.
Yeah.
So this is where we put in the proposed numbers, right?
Right.
Okay, so now this is the part where we put in the monthly numbers, the real numbers. And so I need to make another row on here too. So we have our proposed numbers, and then we go and we're going to take, grab 3 cells across the top, and we're going to merge them. And we're going to write in whatever month it is. It's August right now. And we'll put down the numbers for August. So you can just, whatever your tracking numbers are that you have, just so that you know how to do this, you can put that in there. So the first column is going to be the fixed expenses. The next column is going to be the variable expenses. And then the third one will be the fixed plus variable. Oops, where's the plus? Plus variable. Okay. So I'm going to look back at the tracking we did for her. And the first one was administrative, was 108.90. So I go back to here, outgo administrative. And oops, administrative. I know that this one is, these are not the same every month, so I put it under the variable, 108.90 under variable. So then I go back and look at the next one. The next one is advertising and networking. So I make that column. Advertising, networking. That's the only kind of advertising that she has. If you have like an expense for social media advertising, or an expense for mailers, or an expense for actual ad placement, or Google ads or Facebook ads or whatever, that would go under advertising dash Facebook ads, for example. So that's $68.95. And that's a variable. What happened to my thing? 8.95. I messed something up.
I think you just wrote variable because you said the word variable. So
Oh, thank you. There's my brainlessness again. I just got to cut back on the crack. Let's see. 108.90.
Can't do that. More wine.
Okay. So some of the things, like if she's got, let's see what would be a fixed expense. Be like coaching looks like a fixed expense, $220 a month. So, put it down here. Oh, and I don't have my dollar signs on here. I like having my dollar signs showing up. Okay. So the first time that you set this up, it's kind of labor intensive because you're typing all of this stuff in.
Yeah.
But then the following months, it's already there, and you're just gonna make another column like this and put it over here. And so you won't have to be writing all this stuff in each time. So it goes much faster. Client gift. 46. Education. I can see some of the categories are messed up here, but I am just going forward anyway, not fixing it right now. Because apparently Enlightened Man is a coaching program and under education over here, which it shouldn't be. I separate out education from training, even though, coaching and education, even though they kind of go hand in hand and they're very related. But for tax purposes, I separate it out because the coaching tends to be bigger numbers. I don't think it actually matters. I just feel more comfortable doing it and doing it that way. And I guess it's up to your tax person what it feels best for them.
So what would be a fixed and variable thing?
So the variable are the numbers that change, like, so advertising.
No, I know, but what would fall under the fixed and variable?
Oh, that's where you add it together. I mean, add up both
I see.
columns.
I see.
So down at the bottom, that's where that's going to show up.
And then why do we, well, I guess just for deciding things purposes is we're separating them.
Why we separate them? Yes, just so that it's easier to find where we can cut the fat or where we can make changes. Because some things we obviously can't change,
Right.
and other things that we can. And then we see where the predictability is and what's the basic number that we can't. Below.
And then it's you're talking about variable by month. What about things that are fixed but they're annually or biannually? Like I have IMDb Pro, and that's an annual payment. It's the same, but it's the same every year, but it's not the same every month.
What I try to do is put it on a separate line and divide it up by 12. And I mean, it depends also if you pay it directly out of checking account or if you pay it with a credit card.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it's a big expense, then I like to plan for it. And so put the money aside every month. If it's some of them, like my insurance, I get charged 4 times a year for my insurance, and so I divide that out and put it down there every month according to what it costs me per month.
And you put, when you say that, where you're putting that down, where are you putting that on your expense tracking as if it were, as
No,
if
I
you'd
put it
only
in my
paid a
budget.
quarter?
I
Or
just
on
put
your,
it in my budget.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that way. And then there's certain things like, well, I just decided, because I decided that my haircut is more important than what I have been paying attention to. Because every time it comes around, my hair appointment is kind of expensive.
Yeah.
So I always think, oh, I won't do it this month. But what I decided I'm going to do so that I do it when I should is I'm going to make a little envelope. And so on my personal budget, when I'm sorting out my money for that, every month every week I'm going to put $25 into an envelope that goes towards my haircut, so that by the time it comes around to I need my haircut, the money's in the envelope and I can pick it up and go. I have to do little tricks like that for myself, and you will find that as you're playing with as you start paying attention to playing with your money and wanting to know exactly what's going on with it, you will develop things too. If you're a creative person, you're going to end up developing little tricks and stuff for yourself to keep everything on track as well. Some people don't need to do that, but
I do.
yeah, I do too. A lot of people that are creative need to do that. So
Bobby.
when we get to we'll do the same kind of adding at the end. And income, we put down like, I don't know, paycheck. We did this before. The income numbers, for some people they change around, for some people they don't. But we put down like, so people with the paycheck are going to get it in fixed. People who are getting commissions, it's going to go in variables. And then when you add them up, subtotal, now you have the subtotal of your fixed and your variable. And then for the fixed plus variable column, go that way and add that up. So that's what that row is for. And then I bold it so I can see it easier. And then when you have all of these expenses done, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to add up this column and then add up this column. And then you're going to get the total on that one. And then I'll bold that. And then when you do your total, then what I do is I look at the 500 minus the 220. And so I go into here and take sum. This is what I'm going into the functions. I picked sum. Then I pick the first number is this one. And you see it, you click on it and it shows up in that number 1 space. And then for the second one, I'm going to pick this one. Oops, sorry. Yeah, this number down here, total number, subtotal. And then I want it to be a minus here. So it's the 500 minus the 220 comes out to 280. And so that shows up here. And now I'm going to do it for this side. So I do it again. For this total here, I'm going to hit function. I'm going to choose sum, hit OK. Number 1 is going to be this number. Number 2 is going to be this number. And I put a minus in front of it. And hit OK. So now we've got that one, and I'm bolding that one too. And then this number here will end up being, I can either, I'll just do this again. Right? Yeah, or I can add it this way, which is easier and faster. So I end up at the end of the month with this kind of setup. With this example, I would end up with $566. Now, actually, ideally, at the end of the month, you're going to end up, you should end up with 0 because the money has all gone somewhere. And then, what was the other thing I was going to say? Oh, yeah. If it comes out negative, what happened? If it comes out negative, which sometimes it does, then this number will be in red. And you'll know that you had a negative month. And then you go into your, this one, and you can see where we can cut back. You look at these, look at which numbers, and then check back on here and take a look and see, does that make sense? Does it need to be that much?
So if you said ideally that number is 0 because your income and your expenses have equaled each other. So then you are putting on the outgo, if this is the business thing, then you're putting on the outgo, the payment to yourself.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
I call it a payout on mine. And so I would have a payout column, and then I would have my fixed, because it's supposed to be fixed.
Yeah. And then that payout then becomes the income for my reconciling of my personal expenses.
Exactly.
Okay.
And see, now I went into the red over on this column, and it shows it as a negative 220. But I'm still positive on the total here. 66.69. And then the other thing that I didn't show you guys before was the net worth template. Because remember I said that there's 2 scores that we keep track of? And one of the scores is the passive income, and then the other score is the net worth template. And so in the net worth, it's everything you own, and so that includes cash in a checking account, cash in a savings account, other cash, bank CDs, the market value of your home, the market value of any other real estate, cash value in your life insurance, the resale value of your furniture, your car, your jewelry, your art, which is hard to say because you never know. Brokerage account, if you have stocks and bonds, your 401k, or IRA, your annuities. Those are your total assets. And then your liabilities is going to be what do you still owe on your home mortgage or your real estate. How much do you still own on your car? Do you owe any money to family or friends? Do you have student loans, lines of credit, unsecured loan, credit cards, and then anything else, other liabilities. And then you're going to subtract your liabilities from your assets to get your net worth. And hopefully, after everything that you were doing, you end up, your net worth number goes up every year. And then based on whatever you planned for your lifestyle, you can see how close you're getting and how fast you're moving towards that. So I got some feedback from some fellow coaches this morning that felt like I packed too much into this course, too much information. And so I am wondering what you guys think, what was the most important stuff that you've learned during this time, or what would you have rather learned or wanted to learn that you didn't? Do you think this is too much information for a 6-week course?
I don't. If I was more computer illiterate, that would help me, but that's just me. That's nothing to do with what you've done. So the only thing I personally see is mind-boggling is all the computer work. I've gotten information from you one-to-one, but it's my own fault about the computer, and
Transition.
I have problems with that, but no information you've given me.
Okay.
You've made me think.
Thanks.
Yeah, I would say I'm trying to think if I'd come into this without having done the day thing with the weekend thing with you in April,
Mm-hmm.
and it's hard for me to determine. But this format, I felt worked for me very well. Yeah, I mean, I liked it. I thought that the mindset stuff earlier, I mean, you could have come back and I think reiterated some of those principles,
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like those are underlying that, and that would help. Because then we got into sort of nitty gritty stuff.
Overview.
And so it would have been, I think I was expecting today to go back and sort of like wrap it up and then go back to the principles and then see how we've done this is applying the principles kind of a thing.
Uh-huh.
But
Yeah, I think I was planning to sort of do a little bit more of a wrap up. That was in my mind. And then
Yeah.
the end of the month stuff ended up taking longer than I thought.
Got it.
And I guess normally, like when I've done this kind of stuff with people, it's been a 2-day thing. And it's usually, like if I'm doing this one-on-one, I realize usually I end up spending 4 hours a day on 2 different days.
Yeah.
To get all this.
Yeah, so maybe it's an 8-week course, not a 6-week course.
Yeah.
So that you could spend a little, you could feel like you had plenty of time to spend on this, on the reconciling. And that was just one thing that on its own, and then you still had,
Uh-huh.
and you wouldn't have had to like brush over the net worth so quickly. You could have taken more time with that.
Yeah.
Susie,
Yes.
as the first time that you've done this, you did a wonderful job.
Thank
Oh,
you.
yeah.
All your information and everything else, you did I learned. So I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Bobby.
Oh yeah, I feel very lucky. This has helped me out a lot, and I would tell you that having the coming back to you to be able to say that yes, I've done the expense tracking was really helpful. The accountability of that, because it was much easier after the 2-day thing to go away and not do it.
Yeah. Well, and what I'm looking at doing is I'm going to offer different variations of this kind of program. I'm going to have, for people that are really good do-it-yourselfers and motivated and already know kind of how to work with Excel,
Yeah.
I'll have an independent study available that's just online, and it's just on their own time. And it'll just be the information. And then I'm going to have, I think, an option of doing the course information like we did it, but then also with talking to me one-on-one privately in between where we do the actual work together in between
Right.
as the homework in between each class. And then for the people that want the ongoing accountability and really to make a change in how they do things, then I'll offer the coaching program, in which case they also will have somebody who contacts them on a daily basis to say, what did you make? What did you spend today?
Nice.
So that the numbers are really there. I mean, so that it really gets handled.
Yep.
Judy, do you have anything you want to say?
Whoops.
Mhm. She just muted herself.
Sorry. I thought it was a really great basic course, and I think it covered all the critical stuff that a person needs to do and be aware of. I think I have to second what other people said about, oh, it was so easy not to do anything. So I think that, but I do think it was a really good overview of what you should be doing and how to do it, and, you know, consistent with things that I already do. But I think that, you know, it was reinforcing to say, well, got something right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like things that I knew I should do, but I really need to get on it.
Yeah.
I learned a lot of things that I can use now. As soon as I get like the spreadsheets, I can do that. I have to, I think, practice with that kind of thing before I can really do an actual spreadsheet like you've got going here. This is going to take me a while, but that's just because of my illiteracy when it comes to this stuff in Excel.
We'll call you, Susie.
It has nothing to do with the courses. You gave me a lot of things to think about and do, and things to kick me in the butt that I know I should do, and new ideas. So I mean, this was very enlightening in that aspect. The downfall was completely mine.
But you have a spreadsheet program now, right, Sandy?
No,
You still don't have a spreadsheet?
no, I have a ledger and a pencil.
Wow.
Yeah,
Show you your ledger.
I don't want to show my ledger. It's embarrassing.
But you do know that you can get it for free in Google Docs.
If I knew how to do all that, yeah.
Guess what, Susie?
No,
Come
this
by.
is I can't. No, these are other people responding to me, to my idiocy of computer
No,
knowledge.
it's not idiocy, but Judy, does Google Docs work for Mac? She's on a Mac.
Yeah, you just create a Gmail account and you go to the drive and you just say new document.
Do I
And
just-
when
I
you
can
go
do
to
this-
download it to your own computer,
so I
you
can do
tell
this.
it to
with
save
my-
it in a Mac format.
Can I do this if I have an existing Gmail account?
Yes.
Of course, just open your Gmail, and in the upper right-hand corner, there'll be a little box that looks like a
A grid of 9 squares.
right, exactly. And then just click on that grid, and you'll be able to get to your drive. And when you're in the drive, you click New Document, and it'll give you options.
Drive.
Google, Google.
Yeah, I understand that. When you go into the grid part, the indicator of the boxes, the 9 boxes.
Correct. That's the grid, and then you click on it'll come a drop-down menu, and you click on the one that says Drive, DRIVE.
Okay, drive. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So Sandy, I'm offering everybody on this an hour of time with me one-on-one. How about if I come over there one day soon and we look at that together, the Google Drive stuff, and I'll help you get it set up.
That would be cool.
Okay. We will do that.
I just warn you that in a Mac, and a spreadsheet doesn't operate as easily as in a Word.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, there are things that it does that are better, and there are things that it does that I just want to throw it out the window.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
But that's not you, it's the program.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, that's why I say I don't like to work in Google Drive so much. I copy it into my Excel, but I'm doing the tracking in Google Docs, actually.
Susie, so is that a wine day or a tequila day?
Stop.
I think it would have to be a wine day, because tequila day I would be under the table.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be doing spreadsheets then.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right.
So, so Robin and Judy also, if you want time with me,
Yes,
That's-
please.
I always want time with you, Susie. I can't promise you I'll let you get any work done, but
yeah, but I would love to just, schedule some time and then we can go over things. Robin, what's the easiest way for you to schedule that? Do you want me to send you a link to my calendar, or do you want to just email me some times that are good for you? And we can,
Yeah, send me a link to your calendar.
okay, I will do that. Great.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And then if you guys at some point want to send me a little video or or an email or something that I can use for my for marketing this class,
Yeah.
that would be excellent, and I would be ever so grateful. Okay, so
I'll send you a non-visual.
pardon me?
I'll send you a non-visual.
Yeah, you could just send an email or something that I can just then copy and paste, and
Absolutely.
that would be
I'll do
great.
that too.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Susie.
You're welcome. Thank you, guys. I so appreciate it.
And then we'll call, because I already said, I'm bad at computers. So we'll call and schedule something.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of those Sunday or Mondays when you're off.
One of them. Okay.
Okay. And Judy, you want to schedule some time with me too, Judy?
I'll call you. I'm emailing you.
Okay, good.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
Voices.
Talk to
Bye.
you guys later.
Thank you, Susie, very
Take
much.
care. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Okay.
We never know how to go.
What?
I never know how to leave her.
I'll leave.
See, it's gonna take me a while to turn